Hey Sweet Peaches, it's your girl Carrie. Before I get into the topic of today's video, I just want to give a brief rundown of my absence. So, my laptop died back in the summer of 2019. It worked hard enough to keep up as I dished out 4 videos, 2 of which I took down and 1 I privated. I wanted to expand on them and make them better for 2020. Now it's happening with the one that took off for some reason. I thank the thumbnail. Anyway, I wanted to address Marinette's character and her crush on Adrian in a separate video. The script is based on the old thing. Actually, I've recycled some things in the old script because it generally applies to Marinette. Also, as you can see, it's no longer my character doing the talking. However, she will still be around as my mascot and will be used in thumbnails occasionally. Not gonna lie, I'm still iffy about the whole Kappa thing, but Okay, now that that's done, let's start talking. If a love interest doesn't like a main character, they should stop pining after them, and vice versa. This goes for any gender that's designed to be paired. I understand this is added for dramatic effect, but nothing is more annoying when you're sitting through 4 seasons of a show and the main character still can't tell their love interest they love them. Yet the main character will go out of their way to slowly transform into a whole ass creep. This is nothing new to any type of media, be it game, cartoon, live action, etc. etc. I'm not talking about when the character is oblivious to their feelings, or it starts out hateful, or anything of the sort. I'm talking about character A straight up rejects character B, and character B still tries to get them. You can still be friends with their crush, even if they end up with someone else. Does it hurt to see the pairing you've dreamed of getting together not get together? Hell yeah! Sometimes endgame's pairings just don't work out the way you want it to, and character A ends up with character C or D. But there's something called fanfiction.net, AO3, fan art, etc. for us in the fandoms that we can feed off of. It's definitely awkward as heck, and they do display that in episodes. But if character A really cared about character B, they'd want them to be happy. Characters that suck because they don't get their crush to be their partner is goddamn selfish.
But Carrie, they're only teenagers ranging from 14 to 16, you bully.
I get it, but they're at the age where they know right from wrong. If they can tell that their villains aren't good or moralistic individuals, they should know that stalking someone is just as bad. Half the time, they know exactly what they're doing is wrong. They're still trying to discover their feelings and what it means to love. The characters hope that if they kept up the determination, they'd get them to return those feelings in the end. They think that it's the right thing, but if they're rejected, what gives them the right to tear their relationship apart for selfish desires or even risk ruining their friendship because those feelings aren't returned? It's selfish. It's disrespectful. It's just plain rude. Maybe character A just wants to be friends, whether it's for the time being until they're ready or something permanently. That's valid enough. A guy and a girl, 2 boys, 2 girls, and B, etc., even if geared towards romance, can still be friends even if they don't form anything romantic. Platonic soulmates exist. No one remembers friendships or platonic relationships as a whole anymore. Plus, I know some characters want to be nice and spare their feelings, but the characters that blatantly stalk them don't consider their feelings now, do they? So, we covered the basic principle that creepy crushes are indeed selfish, obviously creepy, and an overall shitty way of writing. Now it's time to talk about how irritating Marinette is when it comes to her feeling, the nitty gritty. When we were first introduced to Marinette in season 1, she was a sweet, lovable, and clumsy character. Her character wasn't always about Adrian despite having a crush on him. She still enjoyed her hobbies, she loved hanging out with Alia, and even her love triangle with Chloe was something I really enjoyed. For me, that dynamic was pretty much healthy. She may have stumbled over her words when talking to Adrian sometimes, but she could at least string a coherent sentence or two. And that beautiful umbrella scene really pulled at my heart. It was well done and had that romantic touch to it. She was also good with kids, babysitting Manon and even Nino's younger brother. She also loved to bake since her parents owned a bakery, but you could tell that Marinette stood out as a main character. She definitely had depth to her character, even if cliche, that we enjoyed and I hope to see fleshed out even more in the coming seasons. Then, season 2 happened and completely butchered everything. As I watched the series, I noticed how much Marinette changed as a character. Suddenly, her clumsiness is used as a plot device or random gags. She can't even speak to Adrian properly, and anyone she sees even talking to Adrian, she tries to sabotage in a horrible or selfish way. Her crush on Adrian became creepy and she seemed more clingier than usual. See, when it comes to women, things like stalking, for example, flies under the radar. They get flack for it, but it's rare. For some reason, it's okay if the girl is creepily obsessed with their crush. It's for dramatic effect, right? Marinette could do this shit. And, she's busy snipping up Adrian like he's a nice hot plate of rice. And zero characters see anything wrong with this.
Something is clearly wrong.
Her crush got to a point where it became unhealthy. From the scene I previewed, you can say that Marinette is merely acting. Yet I feel it isn't, considering all the other times she's been extremely obsessive with Adrian. I feel like her crush became her only defining trait, and she lost that well-roundedness we were presented with in the first season. Marinette stalking Adrian is usually passed off as a joke. It's not funny seeing the clear discomfort on the character who may not have an interest in her. Should a character be subjected to harassment from a love interest for an endgame pairing? Absolutely not. I see people get their socks in a knot when it's a male. People aren't as lightning fast to point out creepiness because they have those rose-tinted glasses on a bit too tight. Everyone would be calling the guy an abusive, stalkerish sociopath because he can't let the girl go. So what does that make Marinette? Say it with me. A creepy, obsessive sociopath. A character, if they stalk, take creepy photos of them, go through their trash, is creepy, no matter what gender they identify as. And usually, creepy crushes often end up toxic. So there are personal changes I want to apply to Marinette's feelings towards Adrian and her character as a whole. First, the creepy thing like the stalking needs to go. That's off the table. There are other things she can do, like muster the courage to approach him. Since season 1 focused on her budding feelings for him since their first meeting, season 2 could have revolved around her actually getting out of her shell and approaching him, which would lead up to her in the final episode of season 2 of kissing him on the cheek. In between season 2, she could have tried to talk to him normally. The clumsiness would still be there, but it wouldn't be as prominent as it was in the first season. And she could still stumble over her words and fight to form coherent sentences, but it wouldn't be as strong as it was in the first season as well. Her tripping over her own 2 feet could definitely be used as a plot device, but there has to be a time where she is competent enough to talk to him, whether it's 1 or 2 times. By the time she approaches him, the clumsiness is gone, at least in the moment. We left season 1 clumsy Marinette behind, and now it's competent season 2 Marinette. For season 3, it could be a mixture of both, because old habits die hard. She's confident in her feelings towards Adrian, yet now that Kagami is introduced, she's back to square one. The whole love triangle is now back. And now it becomes more of a love square when Luca walks into her life. She's torn between her strongest feelings for Adrian, yet her feelings for Luca bud because she can act herself around him, something she can't really do with Adrian. She doesn't want to lead Luca on, yet she doesn't want to lose him because he fills a certain gap in her heart that Adrian can't. And second, the selfish sabotaging has to go as well. So instead of sabotaging Kagami's relationship with Adrian, Marinette becomes her friend, kind of like a keep your enemies closer type of thing. And then when she realizes Kagami isn't that different from Adrian, she genuinely becomes her friend, because Kagami also hails from a rich family, has a strict parent, and also has no friends. So this could be Marinette's moment to realize that Adrian might truly be Kagami's only real friend, and begins to give her advice on how to make her friendship impactful. It may lead to Kagami harboring stronger feelings for Adrian, despite Marinette sharing those feelings, but it could show how much growth Marinette did over the course of 3 seasons. There's more stuff I'd want to change, but that's what I have so far. That's what I would have envisioned for Marinette's character. Media that often have the love interest get harassed for the sake of love leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I find myself feeling a little uneasy for the characters in question. For me, it's seen as a cop-out, like, hey, character A and B are interacting. Little shrine here, little social media stalking here, sabotage here. So yeah, definitely ship them. Sure, they have their moments of calm interaction, but usually character A doesn't know how much of a weirdo character B is. And honestly, if they're going to do a slow burn type of thing, make it realistic even if there are fantasy elements in it. Give it impact. Make us root for them and not against them. Once again, I understand it's for dramatic results and such, but pairings shouldn't be forced or creepy. Trust me, I see both sides of the spectrum.